Today we are going to learn array concept in Java. So what is array? Why it is used? What is the purpose of array? Syntax and all the things. So basically just definition of an array. The array means a collection of similar data. Okay, just understand array is a collection of similar data types. It is very important the word similar data types. Yeah, let me present. Yes. So array is a collection of similar data types. Can you see the screen now? Fine. So basically array is a collection of similar data types. So for if you want to declare array, suppose some 10 element, okay. If you want to store some 10 element, store store 10 element. Then how it going to store? For storing this ELEME. So this thing will be made in the backgrounds and all the data will be stored based on the index. So this data, the 10 element should be stored in 0 to dash 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 up to what? 9. Okay. So this is basically a value and this is basically index. So value are stored at index positions. Okay. There are well, let's discuss some property. So basically arrays is a collection of similar data types. First property, we can store only a similar data. It is not possible to store a mixing of data, means what? Float, string, characters, and numbers together. You can either store one similar data, okay? The first thing. And the second thing, once you define the size of array, so you cannot change that array. Means fix in size, fixed size. Once defined, we can't change the size. So this is the property of an array. So array allow us to store similar data together. But the thing is that it's stored in the base of index positions. That is also fine. Only the things that we need to remember. Once you declare the size, it's not going to change. It will be a fixed one. Okay. So now this is about a array we are understanding. Okay, that is a fine. It is a collection of similar data types. It store the values in based on index. It is a fixed in nature. But the questions appears why array, right? So every concept you should understood why it is introduced in the programming language. Otherwise, there is no need to like why we need an array. Now let's understand why array. Every concept must start with a why. So this is array. Okay, we got it. This is about array. But why? Why we need an array? So the simple problem is there in the things. Just assume that if I told you to store uh, 10 roll number of student ID, okay, means if we generalize to okay, like store 10 student roll number, store 10 different student roll number, right? If I say that this syntax, so in your minds it comes, okay, you want to stay at 10 different students, so let's define integer s1 is equal to something roll number 1, then integer s2 is equal to roll number 2, right? uh, and then dot after that integer s10 will be there is equal to 10. This is the only thing now we can do, right? So this is 10 element is okay. But if I told you that store in 100 student data, then how many data type we need to declare? 100 variable, different variable we needed. right? So that will be the very hectic things, right? Then is there any way that we can store all the similar data in a single variables, right? So that is the possible with the help of what? Array. Right? Now understanding why we need array, okay? So because sometimes we need to store similar data but in so many different variables. So keeping all the variable in different way, it's very hectic to maintain and all that things. So array allow us to store all the data in a single object, but similar data. So this problem should be get solved by array. Now you understood why we need array, right? Fine. Okay, now the next thing is that this is we can store different this with the problems and we can solve with the help of array. Right. What one thing I want to explain you about is fixed in size, different data, and why we need an array. Right. Okay. Now you understood like it is similar thing. Let's for example assume that if we are the 50 students, okay, just assume that, and we want to go for some picnic. It may be anything, and holiday picnics. So if you are using a general programming, that means we are assume that we have arranged that 50 bike, and with the help of 50 bike, every individual student is riding that bike, and we are going for the holiday. So this is things. But it is not, practically, it is though it is practically possible, but it is not a best solutions. So what we comes into the minds, is there any things that all students are sit into one vehicles? Bus is the example, right? Within a single bus, all 50 students should be like allowed. Then we can easily use for this bus. So it is also easy for like traveling and all that things, right? So this is the only the concept. The array says instead of declaring different 15 variables, just declare one bus kind of things, and you can access that thing. So this is the concept of array. Okay. Now let's see how practically we should implement it. What are the syntax? How to store a variable? But only the problem with an array is what? Fixed a size, right? It isn't fixed size. Remember that. The bus is also the fixed. It's have a capacity of fixed size. You cannot store extra things. Okay. So there are again there are multiple solution also there. There is a collection framework in Java. We can study it later on. So that allow to extend the size also. But as of now, array is a fixed in size. So that we have to remember. Okay, now let's see what exactly the syntax is, how to declare array and how to initialize an array, how to access array, all the things related to array. And one more thing, arrays identifications, how you come to know it is an array or not. So this is the only way to identify array. Not round brackets, square brackets. Okay, it like an you can consider list, not tuple. Okay, because round bracket is the identity of what? It's identity of function, na? In Java. Round bracket means functions and square bracket means array. Fine. So if you want to declare array, so how to declare array now, and let's see. So suppose if I want to declare array of size 10 or anything, so basically we have to use some integer or types first. Integers. Okay. Then the variable names. A. This always comes with a square of brackets. Okay. Integer A is equal to new int of size. What size? How many number of data you want to store? Let's say as a free. So this is a way of declaring array. We are declaring array. Is this way. Now The A is an array name which have a size 5. Then within this array object, you can store at least 5 element, not more than this. If you try to store more data, it will throw exceptions. So this is an array declaration. Now, how to initialize array? Initializing array means we need to store that particular index position, means A of 0th index, store some value as a 1, then A of first positions, store some value as 2, right? So like this, you can keep on storing all 5 elements. Now this is known as an array initialization. We are initializing. And how do access array? System.out.println A of 0th index A of first index, right? So this is simple things. We can declare array like this. We can initialize the value like this, and we can accept access array element. Okay. Now this syntax will took some lengthy processes there. We can combine both the line in single line also. So that is also possible. With the help of some basic syntax, we can combine initialization and declaration at a single lines. How we can do that? So for that, we have to take integer a is equal to this 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5, comma 6, comma 7, 8. Nice. So this is syntax is allowed. This means array declaration plus initialization at a single line. Declaration plus initialization. Okay. Either we can use both the things. But the first thing we need to understand how array works. So that's why I define the syntax of we are fixing the size, then we are initializing it, and then we are accessing it. We can combine both the things in a single line also. For that, you need to use a curly brackets and store the value. Okay. Now let implement it practically. It's quite simple, not but difficult. Only understand the concept why we need array. We need array just because of there is some situation where we similar data we need to store for multiple times. So to combine all the data together, we need some concept, and with the help of array, we can store all similar data into single variables. Okay, so with the help of array. This is also concept. Instead of taking a 50 byte, use a single bus. So that is the only things. And what is the syntax? Either you can use like this, or you can combine declaration plus initialization together. Understood? Now let's implement it practically. So every concept must start with why it is introduced. Once we're done, then we can implement it directly. So let's open our project. That is a school. And let me create a new package. For the every concept, I'm creating a new package because accessing all that program will be easy. So let's set all array program will do here. Simple. Right click, new class. I will make it as an array dem. All the program should be done in a main class only. So I directly use a main class. Nice. So let's create. First we in declare and initialize. Okay. So declare array of 5, size 5. So then how to declare? First use the data types, then variable names and the square brackets is equal to new a int. So type is also mentioned. New int of size. What size you need to pass? That's 5. You can find any size that you want. Semicolon. So now this is declaration of array. We are declaring array of having size by declare array. Declaration of array. Okay. Then we can initialize it. A of 0 is equal to, suppose value as 1. Then A of 1 or 1 equal to, suppose store 2. Then A of 2. So based on size, you can store any data you can store, but not exactly this. Then A of what? 3, which is initial. Then A of 4. Only up to A of 4 because we not use a 5. Indexing start with, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is known as initialization. We are initializing this thing, right? Now, how to access that? Yes, like 0, comma 1, like this. Yeah, all the things in single here, na? Like this. Yeah, we are semicolon we are using. That means we are separating that line. So that doesn't matter. Okay. You can use simple line or single line or this. Okay. Semicolon means end of the line. So that automatically going to understood that it is things. No problem. Yeah, that you can use. Now, how to access array? For accessing array, let use system.out.println a of 0th index. So at 0th index, which value we have? We have 17. So if I run these programs, we'll get the output as a 17, right? Now, if you want to use any index, suppose 4th index, which value we have 4th index? That is 56, right? But if you try to access some other index which is not available, it will throw one exceptions. We are also going to study in the after this array the exception handling concepts. So it will throw exception array out of bound index exception. See, array out of bound index means the index that you're trying to access, it is not available. Index out of bound. Okay. So that also we have to remember. Only thing we can access which is index possibly available. Okay. So, but this is a very lengthy index syntax, So for instead of this, we can use this syntax. So integer a is equal to use directly curly brackets 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9 comma 10. So array integer array is equal to this. So thing is means we are declaring plus initializing at a single line. Okay. So this is things we can do it now. If you want to access the array of even though we can access the 9 position also because at 9 position which value should I get now? See the screen and tell the answer. Which value is available at 9 position? Not 9. Na? Indexing start with 0. Right? How 8? If the indexing start with 0, then 0, 1, 2, huh? 10. Because it's having a size 10, then 0 start from, then last position will be such a right? Okay, this is up to okay that we are declaring, we are initializing, and we are declaring initialize together. We are accessing array also, but we are accessing one element at a time. Then how to access all the data once to? So what we need to use then? So we need to go for loops that will repeat accessing things. For that, we need a length of an array. For getting the length, there is a function called a length. Okay. So length function give you the length of an array. So what is the length of an array now? 10. So we have a for loops. We know the for loop. Let's use for loop syntax for integer I equal to 0. You can initialize. Then I less than up to what? A dot length, then I plus plus. Now if I print here I, and what should I get printed here? What output should I get now? If I print I here, what? See the for loop syntax. For I start with 0, it's go up to length, means up to 10, then I plus plus. So what output will I get after printing this? It's a simple. How 10 only? At very initial position, I is what? 0. Then it will check 0 less than 10. Yes. Then it increase the value. Then what output it will print? So just tell me, if I print all the x, if I want to access all the element, how should I access? How many index should I pass here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the only option. Na? I need to pass a of 0, then a of 1, then a of 2. Then what I will be print here? It's a simple for loop. Means what all the list? It print the index only. Right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is not printing value. It is printing index. So let me add some different value here. So you may consider that as index. It's printing just an index. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to tens. But for accessing value, what I need to use? I just need to pass here a of I. Means at very first it asks for a of 0, then a of 1, then a of 2, up to a of 9. Now I will get the values. See. Okay, let me store this. Now you can value actually 13, 23, everything. 65. Kidding? So using the for loop, we can access all the data. Understood this? Okay. Because based on array, there are some questions are asked or some practice question we are going to do. So this is a syntax of printing, declaring, accessing single element, and accessing all the element. A double C. Access all array data. Okay. Now let's solve one simple problems, and you should answer this like how should we are going to solve. So I'll take one example. Just try to answer this. It's simple because it is needed. So like array example, let's this. So let's declare one array of size 10. Store just 1 to 10 elements, no problems. So we'll take an integer a array is equal to, let me add some data here. 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. I want to add, the question is, I want to calculate sum of array. How are you going to calculate the sum of array? Can you add the logic for this? If you want to add something, then you have to access all the element, right? Then all the values should be get added in the single variables, and then you can get a sum. So what is your first thing that you're going to do if you want to get the sum of an array? How you calculate the array sum? Come on, tell us. Anything you can may wrong, doesn't matter, but we need to solve this problem. Okay, the first priority to get all the element. So for getting all element, we can use for loops, right? Integer I is equal to 0, semicolon I less than a dot length, semicolon I plus plus, and so a of I am getting all the elements. Yes. But okay, this is also the fine that at least we are accessing all the data. Now the second priority, how to add this data in a single variable. We need to keep on adding all the array element in a single variable. How can we add? So in a of I, we are getting all the value. I want to add this value for the every position. Simply we'll take one variable, initialize with 0. Then here we are getting all the value. Sum is equal to sum plus a of I, right? So what will happen here? It when initial a of I will print 1, so the 0 plus 1 become 1, then 1 plus 2, 3, then 3 plus 3. So it keep on adding all the data until the last data. And after end of this for loop, we are print sum of array colon is equal to plus sum. Okay. If we now prints, what output should we get? Can you add all the data? What is sum of first 10 natural number? 55 it is, not 57. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So if we add this, what is sum we can get here? 55. You understood these programs? Okay. Now I will give you the one task and you have to solve, like you have to tell how to do it and I will solve it. See, the listen carefully. Any task based on array, or whenever you are having a task on array, so your first priority to access all the data at one position. So means we are getting all the data with the help of A of I. This is clear, right? And whatever you want to do, whether you want to add it or whether you want to count it, anything, you have to declare variable and do it accordingly. Now the question is, I want to get the count of odd numbers from the given array. The program is I want count of odd number from given array. It's simple. Already 80% program is made. You have to just tell me the correct logic. How should I get the count of odd number from the given array? Yeah, we already have a for loops. Fine. Then second. Yeah, that we are done. Huh? Zero, zero. Yeah. So correct. So if n, so where we are getting all the value a of I, then we give a mod. But if we do equal to zero, then it will be considered as even number. So it is not equal. Perfect. If a of I not equal to zero, why it is giving error? If a of I, oh, sorry, mod 2 we are not defined. The mod 2 equal to not. Correct. We have to mod 2 now for checking even a number. If it is an odd number, then we have to increment the count also. So let us set CNT equal to 0. Let me type OCNT. Then what should I do? OCNT. Perfect. Right? And at the end, we can define. We are not getting sum. We are getting only count. Number of. We can do the sum also, not a problem. That is also possible. If we get the count, then OCNT count plus is equal to A of I. But there is no need to sum. We are getting number of odd data. Which variable you are getting? OCNT. Okay. So once you understand the concept that how we are storing data and how we are accessing data, so there are many problems. There are five odd element target. Even you can change it practically also. Let's me add some 13s, 15s. So the count will be get increase, right? And sum is also increasing. So this our program is correct. And if I told you I also want the even count, then either you can write the else part also, no? That is also possible, right? So based on a need, we can do the programs. So let's take ECNT and the ECNT plus plus, fine, and just print here number of odd elements, number of even data. It's not odd, it's odd. Okay, number of even EVEN ECNT. Perfect. So we are getting odd data, even data, and the sum, right? So now we are starting with an array. So array is very important. It's means understanding. Whenever you're working with a group of data, not always an important points. So the simple points we are understanding here about an array. So what we understand array. So array is some kind of a concept where we can store group of data together, right? So why we need an array? We need array just because of whenever we want to store a similar data in the different variables. So rather than using a multiple variable, use a single variables and store all the data. So array help out to store a similar data in a single place, but it's storing value in the base of index positions. Second property you're understanding, it is in a fixed size, so it cannot increase the size once it's declared. And this is a syntax of declaring array, initializing array, and accessing data. We can, even though we can declare and initialize an array in a single variable else, like this. And this is a way of accessing single data. And with the help of for loops, we can access all the data once go. Then we have done some simple tasks. First of all, the sum of an array. So first, we are accessing all the data together, and then we are adding a sum of this. After that, whenever you want, either you can for loop add if else and all the things. So based on your need, you can make a use of this. because for if else and all that thing we need data, and data we are now accessing from I. You understood this? So this is very basic things. And from Monday, we are doing some complex programs. The complex program like in how to get the maximum number from the array, minimum number from the array. Okay, how to sort this array and the two-dimensional array matrix and all that things. Okay, so practice this basic array things. I will share you the programs, and the rest will continue on Monday. Okay. Yes.